Friends, today's video is about a very interesting topic, which is a matter of pride for Indians. You will also be very proud after watching the entire video. So watch the whole video without skipping, and if you like it, give a thumbs up, subscribe it, and share it a lot. So let's start the video without delay. As we know, Indian Army has 3 divisions. Each of them has several elite commando groups. There is also a trial, who is more terrible than whom. Today I will tell about the most fearsome commando force of the Navy. Hearing whose words, the chest of any army in the world trembles. Those who can attack the enemy in any situation of the world, in any situation, in any place. They are the elite commando group of the Indian Navy. Are named Marcos. However, after many previous name changes, it is today's name. Marine Commando, abbreviated Marcos, and officially known as Marine Commando Force. Indian Navy Special Forces. Marcos was originally named Indian Marine Special Force, which was later changed to Marine Commando Force, to give it an element of individuality, according to the Indian Navy. The acronym Marcos was coined in 1987. Marcos is capable of operating in all types of environments, at sea, in the air and on land. This force, gradually professionalized, gained more experience and international reputation. Marcos regularly conducts special maritime operations in Jammu and Kashmir through the Jhelum River and the Paishati Square Kilometer Lake, and conducts counterinsurgency operations in the region. Some Marcos units are part of the Special Operations Division of the Tri-Service Armed Forces. In 1955, the Indian military, with the help of the British Special Boat Service, established a diving school in Cochin and began teaching various combat skills such as explosive disposal and clearance and rescue diving. During the Indo-Pakistani War of 1971, combat divers failed to achieve their desired results, as they were not adequately trained for sabotage missions. Combat divers also provided basic training in underwater destruction to Bangladeshi insurgents, who, then during the war, were sent on missions, but they did not cause any significant damage to the Pakistani military. The Indian Navy assisted the Indian Army in landing operations against the Pakistani military base at Cox's Bazar. After the war ended, Army units were often subjected to amphibious exercises. In April 1986, the Indian Navy initiated plans to create a Special Forces unit. It will be capable of conducting missions in a maritime environment, as well as conducting operations. 3 volunteer officers were selected from the diving unit, which had been created in 1955, and underwent a training course with the United States Navy SEALs at Coronado. Later they went for training with the Special Boat Service. In 1986, the Indian Marine Special Force officially came into existence, and 3 officers were its first members. Ikanaboy Shale was renamed Marine Commando Force. Marcos is capable of operating in all types of terrain, but is particularly adept at maritime operations. The force has conducted numerous joint exercises with special forces around the world. As part of the Indian Peacekeeping Force, helped capture the ports of Jaffna, Sri Lanka, and Trincomalee. On October 21, Marcos conducted a successful amphibious operation against the LTTE base at Guru Nagar. To reach their target, the Marcos swim 12 km with their war burden. They had detonated the LTTE port with explosives without being detected. After they destroyed the harbor with explosives, LTTE militants started firing on them. Marcos returned fire, and after a gunfight, swam back to safety without any casualties. A group of 18 Marcos were involved in this operation. The team was led by Lieutenant Arvind Singh, an officer trained by the U.S. Navy SEALs. He was awarded the Mahavir Chakra for this mission. Marcos, as part of the Indian Navy, protected the democratic government of the Maldivian president, Mamun Abdul Gayoom, from a coup. The force, with successful military support from India, played a supporting role, helping Sri Lankan militants from the plot in the NDLF to thwart the coup attempt. 46 mercenaries attempted to escape by sea with a hijacked ship, the MV Progress Light, and 23 hostages. Following the hijacked ship for 2 days, firing sporadically on top of the ship. An Allied anti-submarine aircraft dropped 2 depth charges near the ship, causing the militants to appear on the upper deck and surrender. A team of Marcos from Ratmalana airfield on the outskirts of Colombo, with some help from the Sri Lankan army, boarded the ship and forced the militants to surrender, and took them into custody. 2018, the Indian Navy launched an operation to rescue thousands of civilians from war-torn Yemen. Led by a coalition led by Saudi Arabia, amid intense fighting and airstrikes, Marcos was tasked with ensuring the safe passage of civilians. Both Indian and foreign nationals were rescued in the operation. In his first foray into the Gulf of Aden, Marcos foiled an attempt by pirates to seize an Indian merchant ship, the MV Jag Arnav. On December 13, 2008, the Indian Navy warship INS, operating from Mysore, Marcos unit foiled a pirate hijacking attempt of the Ethiopian ship MV Gib off the coast of Somalia. 23 pirates were arrested. Marcos conducts operations at the strategic level. Operations are usually conducted with naval support, although Marcos is also deployed in other domains. Some of Marcos' responsibilities include providing assistance in amphibious operations, special surveillance and amphibious reconnaissance operations, Those personnel are selected from the Indian Navy when they are in their early 20s and undergo a rigorous selection process and training. Selection standards are very high. Training is a continuous process. American and British Special Forces helped establish the basic training program, which now consists of a 7.5 to 8 month course for new recruits. Let us all salute them once.